come to an idea in Scripture, symbolism in Scripture. And let us now examine our own self in the light of another people or in the history of another people who had similar setbacks but have survived time, turmoil, persecution to exist today as a powerful people to be reckoned with. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about that small number of people called Jews. People small in number, but have more than their share of dignity in the world society. Economically speaking, academically speaking, politically speaking, they have more than their share of recognition in world leadership. Because they are small people. They say they only number about 6 million. Now you multiply that by another 6, maybe you'll have their number. If they say it's 6 one time, you can bet there's another 6. Because that's their number, 6. And it don't start with 1 6. Yeah, they're the people of 6. It couldn't have been 7 million Jews. Couldn't have been 5 million Jews. It couldn't have been 5,785,996 Jews. It had to be 6 million Jews. I'll be glad when the Jews wake up and see that they got Satan right in their own camp. The historic Satan. You heard of the historic Christ. The historic Satan is in the Jewish camp. Oh, you're teaching anti-Semitism. The Arabs are the Semites. I got some Semite blood in me. How can I be anti-Semite? That's clever, isn't it? You attack the Jew say you are anti-Semite. So he's going to get a whole lot of people on his side. He's going to get some blacks, Arabs, and a whole lot of people on his side. The anti-Semites? Yeah, the anti-Semites. They don't like Abraham and Ishmael and Isaac and Jacob. Clever people, clever people. But among them are a lot of good people. And Allah tells us that in the Quran, that their people are divided. There is the sincere, devoted ones, and there are the ones who follow Satan and do the works of Satan. Let me just quickly point out some striking likenesses between the two people, Jews of the Bible, those that was persecuted, and us. When the Jewish people begin in the Bible, they begin as a small people. Well, actually, they said they begin with Abraham, but they tie in Abraham some kind of way, to establish something else. But let's come to the real beginning as the Bible gives it. We find them to be a small people in a territory ruled over by the Egyptians. They are like in a small district or something under the Egyptian government. I think it's called the land of Goshen, if I'm not mistaken. Out of the land of Goshen comes Moses. His mother, fearing for his future, puts him upon the river that would take him down to Egypt, to Pharaoh's house. She wanted to send her baby to the aristocratic society, the great palace itself. So she put her child in a little flimsy basket and floats him down the river. Much more to this to bring out, but we don't have the time today. Just pointing out some similarities here. He's found by the wife of Pharaoh. The wife of Pharaoh takes the little baby Moses, rescues him from the river, and takes him into her house and falls in love with him. She liked the little baby so much. She nursed him, got care for him, and he grew up in her house and became one of the sons of Pharaoh. He became a great builder. He was in position to become an heir to Pharaoh's throne. Because actually Pharaoh was beginning to take a liking to Moses and was actually liking Moses a little better than he liked his own son, his blood son. So he was in a position to become heir to the throne. However, Moses, he just couldn't stomach the double standards, the double justice in Egypt. He saw one of his own people being mistreated, and he killed the man, so the story says, that was mistreating a member of his own people. This put Moses in trouble, but that didn't really do it. What did it was Moses began to take on a mission. He was told by one of the Hebrews, one of the Jews. I don't like to use the term Jew or Hebrew because both those terms came later. That he was to be the emancipator, the deliverer for the Jews. So he began to think about that and to grow more and more weary. They got him in trouble, more and more trouble. Finally, he's cast out, he talks to God. He talks to God, and he comes back with a message. And his message now is a challenge to the order of the Egyptian house, or the order of the Egyptian land. He challenges Pharaoh in his order, his system. Now, look at our own history now, and let's compare. If you don't believe my interpretation is correct, bring me scholars, theologians, or we'll go to them if it's necessary, and I'll prove to you by their own word, by their own mouth, that I'm correct. Woman there means community, people, community. So his community, not just a woman, one woman, his community put him upon the river, sailing him down to Pharaoh's house. Wasn't it Africa who put us on the boat and sailed us down to Pharaoh's house? Okay. Again, it was a woman who took him out of the boat, out of that flimsy boat, that boat of uncertainty upon the waters. Wasn't it the church? The woman of America that took us out of our native tribal religion and brought us into the church, into the palace of Pharaoh? And didn't they fall in love with us? And didn't they tell their children, no, these Negroes, some of them are better than some of you. We're going to give them their rights whether you like it or not. So there was jealousy, wasn't it? Jealousy between their children and us. Their children jealous of the opportunities that we were getting in America, especially in the church. And we rose on up. How did we get to become senators during the Reconstruction? Senators. Porters at the White House. How did we get up in Pharaoh's kingdom? Huh? Wasn't it through the church? It was through the church. The woman that took us out of the river. It was through the church that we got up in Pharaoh's house. Ralph Bunch, Thurgood Marshall, many others now. Look how high they are up in Pharaoh's house. Ambassador Young, look how he's a great prince for Pharaoh. Great prince speaking for Pharaoh. Andrew Young, going out on mission for Pharaoh. Wasn't that Moses? Huh? Yes. And look how now they turned some of the big cities over to Belalion. Mayor Young in Detroit, Mayor Hatchett in Gary, many Belalion mayors now sitting over the big cities. Look how now government, the State Department, is talking to Belalion, favoring that Belalion outlook sometime over the outlook of their own people. Look how slowly the Belalion have become a candidate for the White House, candidate for the presidency of the United States. Oh, it's coming. Yes, it's coming. Oh, yes. But first they got to put a woman there. They got to gradually operate on the hearts of the Caucasian bigots. They got to get their hearts to accept a woman first. So, well, we had a woman, we'll take a nigger. Yes, God damn it, we'll take a nigger president. But first they got to get a woman president, then a nigger president. Can't you see the parallel? Can't you see the stories, the histories, the movement of the two people running parallel, running together? Oh, yes. But where is the Valerian leadership going to go? It's going to go out in the desert. Oh, yes. It's not going to accept to be the leader of America in the White House. It wants to go in the desert. It wants to go out on its own with nothing and get something that it can call its own. Why? Because our burning aspirations, the century-old hope that is burning in us, is not the hope to sit on the presidency of the United States, to sit in the seat of the presidency of the United States. Our hope is to sit comfortably in our own earned dignity. As a people, not as an individual representing many people. So rather than sit in the chair of the presidency of the United States, Imam W.D. Muhammad, the Martin Moses, say, I prefer the desert. I prefer the desert to your place in the United States of America. Oh, Chief, are you going outside of America? No, the desert is in America. And I'm going to build me an empire of righteousness on this desert of America. Oh, yes. I'm going to see a kingdom rise up in the desert. Then when I have achieved my own soul's aspiration, then maybe sometime 5 or 6 centuries in the future, maybe I'll accept to be a leader for all people. But I got a debt that I have to pay to my soul. I got to pay that debt first. When I have achieved dignity, honor, recognition from world leadership for what we have accomplished in the desert of our resources, then I'll be ready to accept a place in a seat that represents all people. I won't have to accept it then. If I can achieve that dignity for the Valerian, that will be an achievement that all people can identify with and share in. Oh, yes. Don't you know the hope of the White House is not in the White House? The hope of the White House is in the desert. It's right here with me and you. Oh, yes. Let us build up a healthy leadership. And the healthy leadership we build up, the influences of it will fight the air, the wind of destruction in America, and it will bring about a healthy America where the government of America will be able to stand. The government of America can't stand under these circumstances. No, the government of America cannot survive in the climate that is now prevailing over America. This climate is going to topple government. It's going to bring us weaker and weaker leaders in the White House. It's going to bring us corruption after corruption. And eventually America is going to fall. And the only way America is going to be helped and kept safe is they have to let the desert grow. Let the desert grow. So I ask you to exodus.